The way I look at it, if Christine wants to play games, then bring it on.
If you're a fan of reality television, you probably spent the entirety of January binging Netflix's own Bling Empire, which follows the lives of wealthy Asian American socialites while they work and play within the city limits of LA. In fact, considering how the show made it to the top of next to every reality TV list, we'd be shocked if you haven't watched it. But what do we really know about the second season of this popular series? And should we be getting our hopes up, or do we need to follow the stars on Instagram to see more? Well, whether you're a fan of the show or just can't help yourself in wanting to know more about the newest reality show on the scene, stay right where you are, as we're about to explore everything we know so far about Season 2 of Bling Empire. Strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, and get ready for a first-class flight, as you don't want to miss out on this juicy info. Is there a second season on the horizon? As of right now, Netflix hasn't made any official announcements regarding the continuation of the show, but considering just how popular the series has become, the streaming platform would be insane to pass up on the opportunity to renew the show. A number of cast members have also teased a potential second season, at least sometime in the future. Kelly Mee Lin, for example, had responded to the question of whether or not the cast had started filming a second season by informing her Instagram followers that they hadn't yet, but will hopefully start soon. Whether this was a slip of the tongue or really nothing more than a hopeful response, we suppose we'll only know once the official announcement is made. It also needs to be said that the producer of the show, Jeff Jenkins, who's probably best known for his work on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, told Town & Country in an interview, quote, "We just celebrated 14 years of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I would love to take this cast even further. There's so much that has happened in their lives since season 1 was shot, and there's so much going on. God willing, viewers enjoy it and respond." So, it's clear that both the production team and cast members foresee a second season in the future, and would most definitely participate in one if Netflix does make the decision to continue with the franchise. And since us viewers are chomping at the bit to see more from the lives of our favorite Asian American socialites, we expect an announcement to be made any day now. Come on, Netflix, we're waiting. What to expect for season 2? Since the second season of Bling Empire hasn't officially been renewed by Netflix, the question still becomes pretty difficult to answer. A true calculation of the release date can only really be made once filming begins, after all, and as we hadn't heard from Kelly Min Lee, this hasn't taken place yet. It needs to also be kept in mind that the global health situation hasn't been kind to the filming industry, causing a number of Netflix properties, from Stranger Things and The Witcher Season 2, to be delayed due to health concerns. And since the majority of filming for Bling Empire takes place in public, this concern would be even higher. But let's just assume that Netflix does announce the renewal of the series within the month, as we expect they will due to the intense amount of popularity it's garnished. Season 1 of the show appears to have started filming around February 2019, with the release being a full 11 months later. Judging by this timeline, and hoping that the global health situation concerns lapse as a result of an effective vaccination drive, we can most likely expect Season 2 of Bling Empire to be able to grace our screens as early as April 2022. This is, however, completely dependent on how long it takes the streaming platform to okay filming. So, if you're tired of waiting, why not take to Twitter and let Netflix know that we want more? Who knows? Maybe that's the push they need. What can we expect from the second season? Since the majority of action from Bling Empire is centered around the cast members the crew follow on a daily basis, there are, of course, going to be some ups and downs experienced along the way. And something that we are more familiar with when it comes to reality television is the impact that such an experience could have on a castmate's relationship. And this is what essentially brought us to the season finale of the first season of the series, where Cherie and Jesse Lane decided to get engaged to one another. Kelly Mee Lee and Andrew Gray, on the other hand, weren't as lucky as the happy couple, ending their turbulent relationship in true drama fashion of note. Honestly speaking, this doesn't spell the end for either couple on the show though, and although we aren't exactly fortune tellers, it doesn't take dabbling in the mystery arts to know that season 2 of Bling Empire will most definitely be exploring both of these relationships further, often comparing them by association. We can probably expect to see the wedding of Cherie and Jesse see sometime during the duration of this anticipated second season, unless something crazy ends up happening with the intention of stopping the event from taking place. Maybe a long-lost boyfriend? Well, we think not, as Cherie and Jesse are clearly made for one another, and we don't think anything can get in the way of their celebration with the rest of the cast members. As far as Kelly and Andrew are concerned, things aren't exactly over for the two of them. In fact, Kelly revealed in the show's reunion episode that she and Andrew reconciled after taking, quote, a good 5 or 6 month break. Since breaks are normally some of the juiciest and spiciest events that could lead to a surplus of drama between a couple, there is no doubt that the second season is going to be delving in deep into this little gap in their relationship. Will the couple actually be able to keep strong while exploring what the other kind did on the break? Well, we'll just have to wait for the second season to find out ourselves. There's also been talk of taking the show outside of LA, with both Kevin Kreider and Kane Kim recently telling Entertainment Tonight that they'd like to travel when season 2 actually comes along. This makes sense, considering how Kevin is always commenting on how the image of Asian men in America and the media in general needs to change. When asking where he'd like to go, he responded by saying, I'd like to go to South Korea. Such a trip would not only help to normalize Asians in American society, but show the viewers where Kevin grew up before being adopted at the age of 3. When Kane was asked the same thing, he mentioned, quote, personally, I think traveling is going to be a huge thing. You know, we tried to travel for the first season, but obviously with time constraints and stuff like that, we couldn't. I would actually like to fly the whole cast to Singapore and show them what Singapore truly is. So, as it turns out, both Kevin and Kane seem to want to travel for the same reason. The cast members remember who they are and where they came from, and would just like the world to know more about their countries of origin. That being said, if season 2 sets to start filming anytime soon, then traveling might not be the best idea, or even possible at all. The global health situation has actually shut down most international travel between quite a few countries after all, with some Asian countries taking the brunt of blame for the situation. Kelly Mi Lin has also voiced her concerns about season 1, concentrating too heavily on her turbulent relationship with Andrew. She recently told Refinery29 that she'd love season 2 of the franchise to actually concentrate more on her business life. In her words, quote, we filmed a little bit of my office and my staff, but I think the majority of that did get cut out. I would love to showcase more of that. Since there is such a thing as a strong calling for independent female empowerment in the world right now, we can definitely see season 2 diving into Kelly's career more. This is especially true if she decides to take an even longer break from Andrew. But let's be completely honest here, we all want to know more about this relationship of hers as well, so we do hope the second season doesn't completely ignore that aspect of her life. We doubt it, since the Red Power Ranger always turns up when we least expect it, so maybe a glance will be struck at some point down the road. Who's going to be returning for season 2? Since we're living in an age of cancel culture, sometimes over the most relevant of things, we always need to ask ourselves who will be returning in the anticipated seasons of our beloved shows. In the case of Bling Empire, we not only have to look at whether the cast members have been bad on social media, but also whether they're getting along with one another or not. Because even though drama is a great thing as far as reality TV is concerned, these cast members are already incredibly wealthy, and as such, would drop the show in an instant if it stopped them from having to see someone that they hate on set. But from a quick perusal of their various forms of social media, it really doesn't look like much has been happening in the lives of our favorite cast members. At least, nothing worthy of cancellation or rejection from the show, thank God. In other words, we expect everyone from the main cast to return in season 2. We should also point out that as far as a few of the cast members have been confirmed that they would be more than happy to participate in a second season. Kevin Kreider, Kane Kim, Kelly Mi Lee, and Christine Chiu have all indicated their excitement in having the cameras come between them and the real world once more. We also assume that Andrew Gray will be featured, depending on how much time is spent discussing the relationship between him and Kelly Mi Lee. And if the two wealthy socialites end up getting together once more, there is no doubt that we'll be seeing more of Mr. Gray. It's also very likely that we'll be seeing both Cherie Chan and Jesse Lee on our screens once more, with their wedding set to be one of the highest points of the season. Lastly, we can't imagine a second season of Bling Empire without everyone's favorite DJ, Kim Lee, fashion blogger Jamie Z, and hairdresser Guy Tang. So we'll be holding our breath for their return in the anticipated second season of Netflix's newest reality show. But what do you think of the future of Bling Empire? Feel free to let us know in the comment section down below.